so excited to have you on our next episode of Her Head's in the Cloud. It's actually quite a special one, as this is our first in-person episode. I'll let you introduce yourself, Ed.
Oh, thank you. I'm really happy to be here. My name's Ed Groenescheij. I lead site reliability engineers, site reliability engineering teams. I started out in Linux and networking, in consulting and operational roles for a number of different organizations and industries.
Mm-hmm.
I've also had my own businesses a few times. And currently I'm an engineering manager at Xero.
Yes, nearly half a year in.
That's right. Yep.
Sounds good. And what would be the first thing that you look at when you are building or scaling a site reliability team from scratch?
Well, over time, I've seen how much leadership and culture shapes outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
And the experience I've had over time and the leaders I've worked with along the way,
mm-hmm.
they really shaped how I am leading myself, and it's people first, always.
Mm-hmm.
And so looking at how I build a team from scratch, an SRE team or any engineering team really, is in the hiring phase. I probably look less at technical skills than at people's curiosity, the collaboration, and the resilience.
Yeah.
And if I think about people that I've hired over time, some of my best hires were people who didn't fit the bill, who didn't fit the role perfectly from a technical point of view. But most of the time there was something in the interview that I saw, something that I grasped in the eagerness to learn, how they communicated, also how they listened. That made a difference for me to go like, okay, I want to see more about this person, and I think I can work with this person. So yeah, that's usually one of the first things I look at when I'm hiring people in engineering teams.
And just out of curiosity, when it's eagerness to learn, is there anything in particular that stands out? Like, is there something that, if someone mentions, they've read certain books or something, is there a stickler point that stands out for you?
That's an interesting question, actually, because for me, it's one, there's not a single thing that I can identify as this is the thing or this is the tip that I would say. But usually when people start talking about something that they've learned something, and it might be something that was not technical, not related to the actual role. It could be during COVID. This was one of the questions I usually ask when people go, like, oh, I've been out of work for 6 months, or because that happened quite a bit during COVID, is, okay, what did you do? What did you learn? What did you spend your time on? How excited do they get when they talk about something that they've learned?
Yes, true.
Rather than saying what they have learned or how they did learn this specific thing, how excited do they get about it? And I think that's one that you can see it in facial expressions. You can hear it in how they start talking. Yeah, I think that's probably what I look at primarily.
Yeah, no, the excitement and the engagement you get would definitely be a good test. And you've also led culture transformations, Ed. So what practical steps can leaders take to build trust and transparency within engineering teams, would you say?
I think as a leader, you have to lead. You have to always lead by example. And I think that one of the things that I think is important is that when you're making mistakes, that you admit them freely, that you are open about those, that you share the lessons that you have learned from those mistakes. Showing a bit of vulnerability isn't bad as a leader. It actually, I think it gets people on your side. So for me, that is probably a key point in building trust as a leader. And the other thing would be clarity in how we are measuring things.
Yeah.
How are we measuring things from a team's success point of view, but also for you as an individual? how can you measure your progress? How do you know that you are living up to the requirements of the current role and potentially the requirements of the next level up? So having clarity around that, I think, is very important. Having a career journey document that shows you what's required of you in this level of role and the next level of the role gives people the opportunity to self-reflect on how they are going. Usually when people ask in my team, okay, what's going to be next? How am I going to get my promotion? I ask them to have a look at that document and go, okay, well, identify for me the areas where you're doing really well. Identify the areas of your current role, so not even the one up, but the current role where you can still develop, because everyone has some of those areas. And then also have a look at the next level up and see how many of the points that we've got for that role, for that level of the role, are you already satisfying? Which areas do you need to work on, and how can we get there? How can I help you to get to that point? And that makes people trust you when they don't get a promotion as well, because they can see it. They can see clearly. Yeah.
A reflection.
Yeah. They can clearly reflect on how they're going for certain areas. And I think that makes it easier to trust you and be transparent around how we are rewarding progress. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And almost embracing like a blame-free, blameless culture.
Yeah. That's always very important.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And how do you balance empathy with accountability when leading high-performing site reliability engineers? I know that can be quite challenging.
Yes, it can be challenging. But I think empathy actually enables accountability. It doesn't replace it. So to have empathy for someone, you have to understand and share the feelings of that person. And that requires investment from my part. It's not something that is there without investment. And there was something that I read a while ago, and it really drives home for me how I approach building relationships with my team members. Am I able to just read that a little bit? Showing interest in others is not just a technique to be mastered. It's a quality of the heart. It involves how we listen and what we say. It is manifested by the kindness and consideration that we extend to others, as well as our demeanor, our attitude, and even our facial expressions. If we truly care about others, this heartfelt concern will show. And I think that was something that really hit it home for me. That you need to have personal interest, genuine personal interest, to be able to have empathy for someone.
Yeah.
And if you have genuine personal interest, that also means that you want to hold someone actually accountable for what they are doing.
Yes. Yeah. And if it comes naturally, it comes from more of an authentic place, and the empathy starts to show. Yeah.
So it can't be something that you just do as a technique. It has to be something that is you. You have to be personally invested in actually building relationships with people in your team. Not always easy. Everyone is different. So with some people it's easier than others. But it's a good challenge for me personally, because it means that I just really have to focus on, okay, what can I do to connect with this person? Yeah. And with that, if someone it needs to be held accountable, it's also in their best interest. So I can feel that I don't have to feel bad about holding someone accountable, because I know it's in their best interest. They know that I've got their best interest at heart as well.
They trust you.
They trust you. So I think that is a very important one for me on that. And that way you can understand the context of something before judging outcomes. And that gives you as well then clarity around expectations.
And do you think that that's empathy is something that can be taught if someone was stepping into leadership?
Certainly. It has to be able to be taught. It can be different for different people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an investment you have to actually make. You have to be willing to
develop yourself.
to develop that. And it is, as I said, what I read, it's a quality of the heart. So it's not just a technique, because techniques are easy to master if you just put your mind to it. But if it's not coming from within you, you're actually willing to do this for this other person, because you have to give. I think empathy and personal interest it takes a lot of time and effort.
Yes.
So yeah, it's something that if you want to, definitely you can.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And just in case any of the listeners didn't catch that, but was there a book that came from?
Yeah, there was online somewhere. I can't remember where it exactly was, but I just thought it was very interesting. I just took a screenshot back then and still have that. But yeah,
it was great. What does DevOps and site reliability mean to you? There's so many different buzzwords out there, platform engineering. Do they mean the same thing? Are they different? What's your stance on it?
If you would have asked me a year ago versus now, you would see probably what SRE means in one company versus what it means in another. I think it's very, very easily, it's a very, very, very different definitions of SRE. But I think both of those, DevOps is probably more the culture. SRE is the practice. That's what I used to say. So if you look at DevOps, you build it, you run it. Versus SRE is, let's define but good looks like. So that's how I would compare them. But I think that they are friends of each other. Yeah,
they have to be.
Yeah. Reliability is learning faster than you fail. I think that's a very important one to keep in mind. Failure is not an issue. It's learning from those failures, and that's what reliability really is.
And not making the same mistake again.
Yeah, that's right. There was someone a little while ago, someone a few levels above me a little while ago, who said to me, "You care more about people than the business." And that was an interesting line to be thrown at me in a meeting. But I reflected on that, and he was right. Because for me, people first mentality creates an environment which supports innovation, and it results in sustainable reliability. So I really feel that the best SRE teams or engineering teams comes from people first, and then clarity, compassion, collaboration, all of those things will automatically follow.
100%.
So yeah, that was one that was thrown at me, and at first that was painful.
Yeah.
But I'm actually proud that person said it of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you can own it.
Definitely.
That's a very bold statement, but it's true. Put love into your people, and then they'll thrive, and then the company will thrive. It's like flowering plants.
It was an interesting one, because this was about my night shift at ServiceNow. And US-centric mindset is really different than us over here in Australia. And we had people over there who were permanently on night shifts, 4 days a week. And I was recognizing and seeing how these people on night shifts, all were more often sick. And their performance, their output wasn't comparable to people on day shift. And hey, that's understandable, because if you drive from here to Canberra now or during the day, 10 o'clock in the morning, not raining, nothing, or to Melbourne maybe, an 8-hour drive, you do that much easier than doing it from midnight till 8 a.m. When it's bucketing down. So your expectations of someone who is doing work during a really difficult hours, in my opinion, should be different. Should have a different expectation. And to combat that, I was actually looking at, okay, how can we change our model to make it better for these engineers? Interestingly, the mindset in the US is we pay them well for it, so suck it up. which goes against everything that I stand for.
Right.
Because to me, you need to look at, okay, how can I get the best out of people? Because out of that, you'll get the best for our company as well.
Right.
And that was just an interesting one where I saw that happening. And just one where I go, okay, well, it was a total different view on things.
Sometimes you have to.
And that's fine. That's fine. But it was just an interesting way to be told that without the ability to give context, give a bit more detail on what my thinking was. And I was like, wow, that's a very different leadership style, management style, I should say, because I don't believe that's leadership, than what I was used to from other leaders I've worked with. But again, like I've learned a lot from all these different leaders I work with. And I think that's what makes me a better leader.
You've taken in all the best
all
parts.
the things. Yeah, all of the things that you see, like, hey, that's what I want to copy, or that's what I want to implement as well, versus things that I definitely want to avoid.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. You don't hear about that so often, like the comparison between engineers that do day shift and night shift, and the expectations. That's a good analogy to paint a picture of what it can be like.
Yeah. And I think if you start looking at impact to mental health, physical health, you can't ignore the impacts to people.
Yeah.
Regardless of how much money you actually pay them extra loading, etc. for work on night shift. You need to have a look, because you've got a responsibility as a company, as a leader, as a company, to ensure that people are looked after, that their health is looked after, that their mental health is looked after. And you can't ignore that. That's ethically, I don't think that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a fine line.
Yeah. There's a business that you have to actually run, but that wasn't even in the question, because my thoughts, which I didn't get to talk about, were actually how we would improve our bottom line by making changes to how people were working.
Yes.
But if you think more about everything has to be the same everywhere, so parity between Australian regulated markets versus US regulated markets, European regulated markets, we work the same everywhere. You never have a chance to innovate, never have a chance to try out things. And I think that's an interesting one, especially looking at different markets like US versus Australia. The Australian market of our government clients that we had in that company, those government clients stop work by 6 p.m. Perth time, the WA time, while US government organizations work 24/7. So their use of the platform is 24/7. So they may have a different requirement over there, but that requirement wasn't necessarily here the same. So there was a really good opportunity to try out some different ways of working.
Yeah.
How can we do things differently, and what impact does it have on our people, on the reliability of our platform, on output of people, innovation, on projects that they're actually working on. But yeah.
It's good to have that exposure.
Definitely, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Ed, and for sharing your insights. And thank you, everyone, for listening to another episode of Her Head's in the Cloud.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.